What up, Tom? I made some new developments in the opening that we're looking at. So the two lines we've looked at so far, that pawn there, this pawn here. The new idea here, instead of moving the bishop here, this actually doesn't really work out too well, I realized. Because after the queen goes here, and the bishop goes there, then instead of taking, like I thought, move here, you're looking at this. And the best move, I think, for red is moving the pawn there. This is the analysis that I did with IC-Stun. So this looks equalish at best, I think, and probably better for blue and green. So instead of moving the bishop up, I found another idea. Instead, you move the knight here to defend. And this way you have this handy threat if the queen moves out of the way. Especially if you couple it with the queen there. So you could also even attack the queen and move the knight here for the rook and the check. So here, move there. And as yellow, I believe, still blocks the queen off. And you move over here, and this is now a threat because pawn is pinned. So it's even considering just moving the knight there. And the system is still pretty straightforward, I believe. Just to move the queen here, and now you look to move the bishop there to prevent a revealed check if the queen wants to move up. And I guess as green, you would still do that. So here there are a couple of ideas. You can continue with the queen variation idea that I had. Move the queens to powerful spots. I think this might be better. Another option is to move the pawn up. This could also be done later. But the pawn move is to prepare the bishop, going for a check on blue. Because now the knight is not there anymore to defend against that check. So if you move the queen up, then I guess you'd run into that situation, trying to kick the knight. I guess you could move the pawn up, I guess. You could also move the knight up, because you even move the queen out, maybe, here. Might be another option. So I guess instead it's yellow. There are a lot of ideas here. I'm not really sure what the best one is. I think first and foremost you want to probably contain the knight, and then I guess that does allow the queen to come out though. It's the only downside of that. So of course the other option after this is to move the pawn up here, prepare for that check. Because the queen can come out now. You don't necessarily box it in with this variation. And with that check, and now this is still an idea. I think you move the bishop up now to prevent queen from moving. So now you have a convenient check. So I guess here you have to Now I up that square, and also prevent queen from coming in for check. And I'm supposed to do that now. And this is the variation that we're looking at. Still have that idea if you can make two threats at once. Queen is kind of pinned. I think this is a nice setup for red and yellow. I also have to adjust that sooner or later. So those are the two variations, potential variations I saw in this opening. I want to hear what you think is the best. Whether you prefer to move this pawn up or that queen up. The queen idea is to try to box the blue queen in, because you can pretty much box it in from both diagonals. And of course, the other idea is to just develop the minor pieces so you can continually make threats against blue. This one might be better, but queen idea might also be good. I'm really not sure yet which one is the best. So again, I want to hear your feedback on this. Tell me what you think. The other variation we're looking at, this one, I believe, again, you do the same thing. Originally, I thought it was the pawn, but probably wrong now, because the pawn is pinned if you move the queen here. So it's not really something you can just easily take advantage of, I think. I think now this was an idea, but of course not anymore. Just win a piece that way. So I think the common idea here is that, and I think this idea that I showed in the other video, where you move that here, this moves there, that moves there. Now the queen has to check, because if it doesn't, then you have the, oh yeah, obviously the queen moves here, my mistake, it's a lost queen. But after this idea here, because blue can no longer check yellow, and because you have this, I think, pretty sure green has to take now. You take, have that idea, and again, you don't want to capture this, so you want to move over here. And of course, if you take, then pawn up, and then trap the queen. So that's that variation, and I'm pretty sure that blue has no time really to take advantage of that knight in the meantime. The other variation that we haven't looked at yet, which Axestone suggests, and we might very well face, because we're going against Love GDU and Kuchtimi, is this one. It also is actually pretty strong. So here I believe is still smooth the queen out, making that threat. Yeah, of course, if the queen moves out. One idea I was looking at is that, because although the queen is temporarily boxed in, you have this immediate threat on the queen. The question for red is, do you want to pin a knight here, or do you want to threaten checkmate immediately? Both are ideas. I can hear what you think if you want to offer any input. course, you have to defend against the skewer, so either that, um, it does allow for this, but because the knight is kind of, could say, boxed in, I think this works out. And then go for either or, really. This is a really tricky variation. Of course, you also have that idea, but then I think things can be potentially pretty good for green in that circumstance. So again, the idea here would be to box off the blue queen, if possible. That's the one square you want to look at. So again, I haven't looked at this in detail enough. Another advantage of moving the queen here is you do block that square off. And now the only square the queen can go to is here, which can be attacked pretty easily. And of course, the knight is pinned. You have this idea, kicking the knight. So it's blue here. Guess you could go for that. But as I said, this is now an idea, and if you kick it off at diagonal, the red queen can go in. So that is definitely a threat to consider. I think it's maybe premature. Maybe you have to move the knight up first to prevent that. And here, you have to look at that. Another idea too is to prevent that. Look at that. Another idea here is that if the red queen can take that pawn. See, I'm not sure that's, you really want to move another pawn up, because the king becomes exposed then. Plus you have extra firepower against that diagonal. But another idea here is if the red queen takes this pawn, then you checkmate that way, if the queen is out of the picture. And of course you can tie the queen down with that bishop there. So there's a lot of speculation to be had in this opening. I'm not sure, again, whether it's better to move the queen here or there for the next move, because surely you don't want this. So feel free to let me know if you think I missed anything in this video. Another idea for moving the pawn up here is to then move that pawn up there, thus nullifying the potential check threat. And of course, both this pawn also will come up, filled off with that. And of course, we didn't really look over this idea here. That's also definitely an idea, but not yet, of course, because you have this immediate threat. Which is why I wanted to move the knight first here. I believe the other option besides moving that knight up immediately to overlook this threat is move this knight here. You just immediately block it off. I mean, I guess you could also move it there, but then still have the pinning effect if the queen moves. Which is why I think that this is probably the strongest move for blue, this position. So feel free to let me know if you think I missed anything. And I'll catch you next time. Peace out.